sometimes the ancestors will have you understand a situation. And upon that understanding, you may feel the impetus to warn those around you, very much like Noah in the ark. The problem with that is, many of you guys have been dispatched in to be lessons. And that lesson is not one that is always meant to be escaped. What people don't understand is that sometimes you truly are dispatched in to be people's karma. I've seen a lot of casualties that have happened, excuse me guys, in my life. Turn the fan on. A lot of casualties, hopefully you guys can still hear me, but a lot of casualties, excuse me, that have happened in my life because people didn't believe that the ancestors and the angels were going to be right. Maybe they believed in putting up a fight for their own reasons, but they didn't believe that if they were in a not disobedient stance, but one of denial, reluctance, refusal to accept whatever the imperative truth is before them, that there would be consequences. For those people, I can't have you feel too badly. I don't want you to put any more energy into worrying about what happens to them. I used to spend a lot of time worrying about protecting myself, about stopping people pleasing, about interrupting cycles of codependency once they were pointing out to me by my spirit team. I used to have a lot of hard time standing up for myself and letting people know that maybe the path that they were on was not the one to go. And then I kept living, and I kept watching towers happen to those around me who would try me in whatever capacity, because my heart was pure. It says a lot about you if you presume malice when something's going on, and maybe because of what life has dealt you, you will. Meaning, if you've had a lot of bitter pills to swallow, and empaths, haven't we? You will very easily think, like, could they all be out to get me? But I still choose to operate in a stance where, no, actually, they're not all out to get me until they are out to get me. Do you guys understand? Let someone show you their hand. And even after that, excuse me, especially depending on what level they are grandfathered in, with you or with me, and that's even more powerful of a retribution that they'll have to pay for sending a lot of unjust energy your way. They will now have a karmic debt, and the ancestors and the angels never let them get away. Don't feel sorry for them, but you need to get away from them in order for that to play out properly. I've had people around me that watch that happen to other people, watch me go through things, watch how I would deal with it, and I don't know what happens. And that's the only thing I can describe as a kind of psychosis. That's why I just call it going rogue. It's like watching a zombie. It's crazy, because it's like, well, didn't you just see what happened to that person or that person or that person that came after me? But when people have entities, attachments on them, which they may not always. You may have had people in your life for a long time that were absolutely fine, and then one day they were not absolutely fine. And you had to discern and be in spiritual warfare and have a tower come down and decide, do I stay or do I ride or die? Do I ride or die, or do I go? Because if you try to stay for show, you will be depleted in every single way that you can know. What happens when you surround yourself with people that are fake or inauthentic is it literally breaks down your vibration. It depletes and diminishes your vibration. Then the result of that, let's say it's just one person, and because you love that one person and you understand and you can empathize and you may even understand why they're triggered or whatever else, what happens is when you allow that to happen for years and years and years, then it breaks down the very fabric of your boundaries. Because even though it's just this one exception you've made for one person, if you notice that other people start coming into your auric field that are low vibrational and inauthentic, and you're like, okay, wait, if we study the law of attraction, if like attracts like, am I like this? No, but as an empath, you're a light. So you will attract people that are living in darkness. They will want to come to you. They'll want to dismantle you. They want to get inside and see what you do. They want to get behind the scenes. They want to see what real problems you have. And we all have real problems too, that part. But what happens is, this is a deep revelation that my angels gave me. They said, by entertaining any fake inauthenticity, you allowed yourself to be a vibrational match, even if that was not your core identity, with those other people that came in. Over the last several years, I've had so many different shenanigans, and I'm like, I'm a whole teacher outside. What are we doing here? God, what is happening? And God said to me, as I was seeking real answers, because when they say, seek and you shall find, or when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, my God, have they appeared year after year after year. And my angel said, are you ready to get to the bottom, to the root, to the core of the lesson and what's going on here? And they said, you played yourself small. You hid your light under a bushel. You kowtowed to people that were bullying through codependency and faux niceness, just basic inauthenticity. And then you ask yourself, like, well, how did this happen to me? How did we end up here again? Because I made one exception, I then ended up dealing with all these other situations. And then finally my angels brought me back in full circle to the place where I had started making the exception. And they said, are you ready to take a look at this again? They said, you're going to have to cut this off at the root. And if you don't, every energy vampire in a 20-mile radius, in a worldwide radius, is going to come through and see you as loot and try to rummage and steal and pillage you, your energy specifically. And so at that point, I returned back to my West Indian roots, and it's time to brandish the spiritual machete. Anything that is in the way has to be cut free, because I want to have a life where it is mirrored that I'm actually living in an authenticity, meaning, and then people are also mirroring that to me. One of my favorite teachers says that the only answer to dishonesty is radical honesty and authenticity. So if someone's lying in your face, you have to tell them the absolute truth, and that absolute truth will disturb them. One of the ways that I've noticed just for me, as I've taken back my power in so many ways, is that when I do that, people will want to let me know that my words hurt them, but it's really a method of them wanting to control, because for me specifically, that's how I cut through the grassy knoll to see the snakes. My words. You may have your own defense mechanism and or sniper protection system, whatever you have set up for you. But if you're an empath, there's something special that you do in order to ward off those energies away from you, whether it's to just remove yourself or to communicate it or to not communicate it. We can talk more about that, but I just had a quick message for you about that. I've got to jump to a client, but that's what you need to know. If you want to actually grow, you have to let the fakes around you go. It doesn't matter what they say. And we can talk about the specificity of that, but the truth of the matter is that they're holding you back. That's the truth. And that's a truth that's inconvenient. It's a truth you may not want to look at. And it's a truth that's easier to look away from, to be honest. But what I realized is I got to a point in my life where, and it was lined up very beautifully with a lot of very powerful astrology, but every single false or fake relationships, even the ones that I thought could be of service to me or had been of extreme service to me, I had to thank them for their service and then, without compunction, set them free. Maybe it's a little food for thought, not just for me, but for you too, collective. Think about that. How bad do you want authenticity? How bad do you want real, true connection? Is it worth setting free the things that are masquerading as that? Are you okay truly being in hermit mode? Have you healed your codependency? Because it'll all be tested as you swing your proverbial machete to set yourself free. But if you are on fire for authenticity, then set yourself free and swing your machete. You will never regret it, because once you do, you start to actually levitate energetically and ascend and find people that are your tribe that can really be your friends. So good sharing energy with you. Come back and join me next time, guys. We'll continue to evolve together.